Hi, my name is Jamie Lynn. This is some of my story. I was born in Boston. I am seventh of 8 children. My little sister passed away when she was 4 of cancer, and to me, that's when I believe my mother started with her problems, we'll say. Psychological problems, physical problems. First memory that I can recall of abuse was when I was 6. This was, I believe, after my little sister passed away. My sister Corey and I, we were all called down for dinner, and my sister Corey and I were nitpicking, as kids do. You're cuck-a-bomb, cuck-a-head, whatever we were saying to each other. And my mother was cooking soup, chicken soup. And we all sat down at the table, and she was saying, stop, cut it out, don't, stop, cut it out. But, you know, we're kids. We just continued. And I recall her serving us soup and then pouring the soup on our head and said, I told you to stop. And then ran us in the bathroom and poured cold water on us. I thought it was normal to scream and holler and yell and swear. You know, I was very into sports when I was a teenager, and I never really turned around and seen my mother in the audience. So that was strange for me. But when I became a parent, it was different. I picked up my baby for the first time and said, wow, I felt love. I felt like I don't want to be like my mother. I want to show my child love. I want to be there for my children. I want to see them grow up and enjoy them and say I love you and go to their sports events and be supportive of them and be there when they needed me. But one day, I found myself hitting my kids and didn't understand why. I called up my doctor and I said, something's wrong with me. I feel like I want to harm my children. I was scared. I didn't want to hurt my kids. I didn't want to hit my children. They sent me to counseling. And this is when I realized that things do happen that you don't realize that you blocked in the past. And they do stay in the past until something triggers to bring them out. And my first day of counseling, I realized there was a problem back then, and that it wasn't normal to scream and holler at your kids. It wasn't normal to swear at your children. It wasn't normal to hit your kids. It wasn't normal to tell them, get out of here, I'm busy. And that wasn't normal. And that changed my life. And I believe I became a better parent. My oldest son turned 17, and he was shot in the head. For me to see my baby on the bed with all these machines and trying to, help him and keep him alive, for my mother to be in her wheelchair and roll up in the hospital and not leave his side for a complete day, made me look back and say, maybe she does have a heart. Maybe she did really care, but didn't know how to show it. And she was very proud of my younger son. My younger son, she was extremely proud of. He grew up and he became a chef. He got in the field like my mom. My mom was a very good cook. I'm a very good cook. But my son went on and he graduated top of his class. And he's a chef now, and I'm very proud of him. And he has a beautiful child. And my oldest son, he survived. And he became a father, and he's doing phenomenal, and he's trying. He struggles. I remember when I met my husband. What a marvelous person. I will tell you, we've had our ups and downs. A lot of ups. Some downs, but a lot of ups. He's always been there for me. He's always been there for his kids. Hard-working man. Been at the same place for 27 years. It's the small things that I really care about more than anything. I've been going through a lot of physical things that are wrong with me right now. And just for him to walk in the door the other day with a dozen of, I don't even know what kind of flowers they were, but they were so beautiful. And just for him to walk in the door and say, I brought you these flowers just because, was the sweetest thing anybody ever wants to see. In June of 2004, my sons lost a cousin in Puerto Rico. In September 2004, they lost their cousin William in Boston. He was their cousin, but more like their brother. That particular family, meaning William, Carlos, and Junior, were more like my kids, not just my nephews. They were always at my house, and they've always been around. So to lose my nephew at such a young age, at 20 years old, was very dramatic for my boys. And then the following October, when my older son got shot in the head, was unbelievable for my younger son to have to go through what he had already gone through, and then now to have to see his brother in the hospital bed with a bullet wound in his head and all these machines, and not knowing if he was going to survive, and what about him, and who was he going to look up to, and what now? And then not even a month later, they lost another cousin in Boston, all to violence. Street violence has come completely out of control. Families are losing so much. To get back to my nephew William, his girlfriend was 5 weeks pregnant when he was murdered. His baby girl looks identical to him. And for her to have to grow up for the rest of her life only being able to visit him in the grave is one of the saddest things you ever want to see. What I am most proud of was the day my youngest son, graduated culinary college, the top of his class, hundreds of people around, and there is my son, and I'm so proud of him, and I'm crying, and I just couldn't even express to him how I felt that I would. It's not even the fact that he's a chef, it's the fact that only a handful of the family, both sides of our families, actually did something with themselves. And for him, all the struggles that he's gone through, to see him come off that stage was the proudest day of my life. I'm hoping I get my GED. I'm going to take a business course, and this has always been my dream. I would like to open up either some kind of restaurant, or I've been actually looking into those food trucks. But cooking has always been my thing. I love feeding people. I love watching people eat, especially enjoying my food. That, to me, would be my ultimate end. For me to open up my own place and say, this is my kitchen. Jami's kitchen. I wanted to share my story with others because maybe you could learn something from what I've taught, what I've said. Maybe you can get some ideas. Maybe if you're a young person, meaning a teenager that's on the fence of, you don't want to go to school no more, maybe you can think twice. Or maybe if you're in a gang or thinking about becoming a gang member and you're not sure what you want to do, think twice. Because not just you are the ones that are going to get hurt. If it's your education that you're thinking about, if you don't get your education, you're not going to have a good job. You'll work at Dunkin' Donuts for the rest of your life. If it's a gang thing that you're thinking about, it's not just you that's going to get hurt. It's your family. If it's you that's committing the crime, your family that's going to watch you go to jail. But it's the other family that's going to suffer because they no longer have their family member. If you're a young mom starting out and you're confused at how to raise your children, maybe something I said to you will help you. And if you have trouble and you're confused and you need help, call your doctor, call a counselor, call a friend. There's always somebody out there that will listen. What more can I say? I'm hoping that some of my little advice that I have come out with, some of my stories that I came out with, or some of my jokes, anything that I have said, let's even one person think twice before they make the wrong decision. Thank you.